I'm Olly Hall-Green, and I'm the founder and host of Shapes of Resilience. In this podcast, we explore the raw, unfiltered stories of those who refused to give up, turning adversity into strength, setbacks into lessons, and pain into purpose. Through these inspiring stories, we can learn and find resilience in our own lives every single day, because true growth isn't found in comfort. This podcast discusses sensitive topics including trauma, suicide, loss, mental health, and illnesses. Some conversations may be distressing, so please take care whilst listening. Take two. So, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, technical issues seem to be the running theme. I haven't had them for a while, to be honest, so it's thrown me again because it reminds me of how I used to have to navigate that inner battle and the frustration that I'm feeling right now because my tech setup has failed, but we're going to go with it. We're going to try and persevere. I'm going to try and put that to the back of my mind and crack on and have a conversation with you because I appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem.
And we'll go start again. So I'm joined this morning by Daniel Staves. Daniel is all the way up in Yorkshire, so about 400 miles away from myself down in sunny Devon, although it's not too sunny today. And yeah, very, very much appreciative of your time this morning. We're going to have a conversation about everything that you've been doing recently. You've absolutely smashed it, fair to say. 2025 has been a busy year for Daniel. He's an endurance athlete. He's an ambassador for many brands. He's out there putting the work, but not just resting on his laurels. He's to see how much he's pushing himself. Achieved some amazing things this year, both for charities and for yourself, no doubt. And we'll go into everything behind that, all the reasons why you've done what you've done and you continue to do what you're doing, your story behind it, and then more importantly, like the lessons you've learned along the way. So thank you, mate. Appreciate your time.
Oh, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Mate, so let's start with this weekend because I know you just completed a challenge this weekend. I know it's not up there with your most impressive numbers-wise for distance or whatever, but I understand it's something that pushed you in another way because it was a faster tempo.
Yeah, so my previous ultramarathons have just been a lot about enjoyment and just getting out there. And I've had a couple of good results, some fourth place finishes, some fifth place finishes. So now I've been wanting to see how far I can physically push myself to see where I can see where it leads or see what I've got in tank. So this weekend I went all out without any recording equipment on fresh legs just to see what I was capable of doing. And I finished this 50k in 5 hours, 9 minutes. And that is just 2 minutes off my PB time on a tougher course. So this course had an extra 2,000 foot elevation to my PB.
I'll challenge you though, because if it wasn't put on Instagram, it didn't happen.
Yeah,
mate.
exactly. If you check my Strava, it's on there. I try not to post paces. The only reason I don't post paces is I don't want to discredit anyone else. So when I'm putting, I've been out for an easy run, and my easy run's a little bit quicker than theirs, they come up with it as a negative. So what I do when I do post my stuff on Instagram or social media, I'll post I've been out for an easy run or a tempo or a threshold instead of the actual paces I'm running.
It's hard to find, and I imagine because of that, it's hard to find training partners as well because it's all very well like you got people with the same mindset, and I bump into people quite regularly now, and it's like, oh, I can see you're into your running and that. It'd be good to go out for a run with you. My first question is, well, how fast are you running?
Well,
because it's all right if you can meet halfway and there's not too much of a gap, but I am slow. I'm a slow runner, and I don't want pressure on myself. Like I could go out with someone and push myself, but I'm not getting anything from that because I'm not doing it for any other reason. I'm not training for an event. I just go out and enjoy being out in nature. And so if there's someone out there that wants to run at like my pace, then happy days. But most people that are like endurance runners run considerably faster than I run. So is that something you find when you're trying to find training partners?
Well, I was very lucky with this. So when I signed up for my first ultramarathon, I'm part of a charity fundraising group, and all these lads do different endurance events, running marathons, running ultramarathons. And I got invited onto trails with a lad called Lee. He's actually been like my wingman for most of these challenges and races. And he told me, he says, it doesn't matter how fast we run, we'll just go at your pace, because for him, it's time on feet training. So it didn't matter how long it
Yeah.
took for us to get around what routes we'd planned. He just run at my pace, and he put me really at ease with that. So when I go out running with a lot of people, unless it's a specific training run I've got to do, I'll just say, we'll go at your pace, because for me, it's time on feet. So it takes that stress away from them. And then what you'll find then is when you're running at a more comfortable pace with them, conversation flows better. It actually becomes more an enjoyable run.
That's funny because that's the second time I've heard that phrase, time on
Yeah.
feet. And the first person to share that with me was someone that lives up your way up in Leeds, Alice Kershaw. So I connected with Alice through my friend Hobbo, Hobson, and they're both ultramarathon runners, part of Leeds Running Club. And they both travelled down and paced me through my first marathon in September.
Well, Alice is actually also an ambassador for Pump and for endurance events. I saw her this weekend, actually.
All right,
Yeah,
okay.
so she's a beast. She's an absolute beast. Lovely woman as well. Very lovely.
So humble, so down to earth, kind. And I could tell when they came down to pace me through my first marathon, maybe my only marathon, the pace that they maybe anticipated I was going to be able to cope with wasn't there, which meant that the first half, like the first 13 miles, I ran far quicker than I would have. I run on my training marathon for like 3 or 4 miles. So I really felt it, but for me, it was like, it's what needed to happen, because I would have just gone at a snail's pace and I probably never would have completed it in the actual allocated time. So, but for them again, I could just tell that they didn't care, that they weren't there for that. They had to remove that ego thing from what they were doing, because they knew how much more capable they were. So to see people then overtaking me all the way through that second half of the trail run, people that we had like ran past in the first half, because I couldn't keep that pace up. It was then this thing of them having to accept these people running past me, but also running past them.
Yeah. It is. It's like
It
you'll
was quite
find you'll yo-yo with people on races. But I've paced, I think it's three or four people for ultramarathons for the first time. And all it is, it's on them. So I'll just go outside them. If I think they've got a little bit more, I'll try and push that pace a little bit quick just to get them moving. But if the conversations drop, their heads down, they look like they're struggling, I'll pull it back. So when you're pacing someone, it's not about you, it's about them. So it's actually more enjoyable for us seeing someone achieve something, because we know how hard it is. But if we're running at, say, a more comfortable pace, we're just there to help you or help whoever we're pacing.
fair play to you, because I could see how much they got from it as well. So
It is. It's
I can
nice.
see.
It's nice to see someone succeed, and it is. And it's nice to be able to be involved in that as well, because running a first marathon, a first ultra marathon, even a first half marathon, it's a massive accomplishment. It's a lot harder than people think.
Well, you've got a fair size following on Instagram, so I imagine you get a fair amount of messages from people saying you have inspired them. And
Well, I used to
like
step my top off a lot as a bodybuilder, so I think that's where your followers came from. And then when I came to running, now
I might try that then.
so when I switched to running now, I've actually gained quite a lot of running community followers, and I loved giving advice out and actually receiving advice, because you'll find that you might have A to B, but you might have 10 different routes to get there. I'm not saying one way is better than other, but I speak to a lot of different coaches, a lot of different runners, and I learn something new. So I like that with that community.
Yeah, it's surrounding yourself with people that you can both learn from and help. I think that's the most beautiful combination when you connect with someone properly, because if it's a relationship where it's just you're always like taking,
and not getting back.
You take from this person, I've not got nothing to offer them, or maybe you just don't offer, you just always looking to take, and then the same people that are just there, and you can tell they're just like taking from you. It doesn't work. I don't feel. So,
I mean,
that's the good way to be.
the thing with me as well is I'm a coach. I'm a personal trainer and ultramarathon coach. Is I like to get advice out because I learned through doing. So I made a lot of mistakes. So if I can give some advice out to someone and stop them making 6 months of mistakes that I made, it gets them further along in their journey quicker. And I got
So what's What's the thing that got you into ultramarathon running?
So ultra running, I hated running. I'll be honest. When I went in military, hated running. When I boxed, I absolutely hated running. I had a breakdown. It'll be 5 years ago now. I was battling addiction, and when I got myself sober and I got myself back on track, there was a local lad that took his own life. So I decided I wanted to do something for men's mental health charity. So I decided to do what's called the Goggins Challenge. It's you run 4 mile every 4 hours, 48 hours. And at the time I decided to do that, I don't think I could run 5 minutes. They gave me 4 weeks to get ready for it. And I managed to finish it. So I go 48 miles in a weekend. And then after that, I
Nice.
thought, right, if I can do that, I can do an ultra book. And I just booked it. And then luckily for me, I got involved with charity fundraising group that I mentioned, and there were some ultra runners in there, trail runners, and they're all like, "Oh, have you checked elevation out on that ultra marathon you booked?" And I'm like, "What elevation?" And they went, "Have you not looked?" I'm like, "No, I just booked the closest one to me." And they're like, "Right, so you've got 4,000 foot elevation, you need to come running on trails." And they took me out. But that's originally what got me into it.
Do you think because without realizing that's what you'd signed up to, do you think that put you on the path of the ultra marathons and the trail runs and being out in nature? Because if you maybe have signed up, your first marathon was just like a conventional road run.
Yeah.
Do you think that might have put you on a different path?
Yeah, definitely. So for me, I found a lot of peace on trails. I found a lot of healing. It gave me time to work through a lot of things I'd been through, what I probably haven't faced. So each time I run an ultramarathon, I suffer a little and I go to a different dark place. I mean, I've seen me at the end of these ultramarathons break down and cry. Or I've been
Yeah,
running and crying with tears in my eyes when I'm racing. Because my head goes to
yeah.
some dark places, but each time it does it, I feel a little bit better. So it's been like a bit of a healing journey for me.
It makes a perfect sense. I think part of that is that on a trail run, because they can be quite technical and quite unsteady on your feet, one, you're having to watch carefully where you're putting your feet, and then also the size of like the view that you got and the different views you get when you're up high and you can see for miles and miles and miles, and you can see trees, you can see all sorts of nature. It like lowers cortisol, but it also puts you into that present moment because you're having to navigate your way through the terrain.
Yeah.
And I think those moments are where you go into the present moment, and then without realizing it, stuff comes up because you're so engrossed in what you're doing. It takes you out of that autopilot.
Yeah. So I found out a few years ago that I've actually got ADHD. And I didn't know this. I grew up with it. I just thought I was a bit of a bad kid. And my brain just it constantly racing. So what I like to explain it is imagine you've got Internet Explorer open and 10 tabs. And my brain just
Yeah.
flicks through them all. So I can never focus on one thought at a time. So I get into it and it'll go on to the next one. What I found is because, like you said, you're looking at your trails, you're concentrating on your breathing, everything slows down for me. So I get a chance to then deal with that thought that I need to, and then I can think it through. And that's the only time I can manage to do it. So for me, if I'm having a really anxious day, it don't matter if it's easy run, hard run, if it's trail run, road run, I will just try and get out and go running now. And that instantly, that gives
Mm.
me a chance to think it through. And it's when I do my best thinking.
And how different is that to 5 years ago when you'd have this probably the same thoughts and the same patterns of thoughts?
5 years ago, it'd have been right. I'm off to the pub, and then I'd probably got me sent in a mess. I'd have been out for days. I'd have been in a
Yeah.
bad way. Someone would have probably found me passed out somewhere, or I'd have been coming home in a state and upsetting me other half.
And you can see it's almost like two sets of dominoes in opposite directions. Once you set the dominoes off in that
Yeah,
direction,
escalates.
then it takes the whole lot. It takes a lot to get back just to front and
Yeah,
center because it seems so far away when you're on that spiral downwards, especially if you've got alcohol and other things that are meaning that you're chemically imbalanced for a start. You know you're going to have a bad day tomorrow just to get yourself back up, and then you might have some bad food. You might miss a training session, even if you're on it. It's so easy to fall off
yeah,
track, which is why I get the impression you're
yeah.
constantly right. What's next? What's the next challenge? I've got to keep myself on this
My
path.
first way of looking at it when I got into it all was depression can't hit a moving target, and that was my mindset. I kept going. I kept going and just kept pushing. I think, right, this is working for me. And then it got to a point, I think my first year running, I'd done 12 ultramarathons in 12 months. And then second year, or 21 ultramarathons completed in 2 years. Well, then what I decided to do is like, right, I'm going into therapy, so I need to be able to sit down. And that's where I'm starting now. So I'm actually going to start. Well, I've actually found a therapist and I'm going to go start talking, well, just like this online, and start being able to slow down. It's not asking
Yeah.
for help. So I spoke to my other half and life's good. Life is really good. I'm happy, but I just can't sit still. I sit still and it gets me. So I'm like, right, that's something I need to work on. So I asked my other half about getting me some help, and that's where I'm going now. Just
Love
slow.
that, mate. Yeah, no, well done. That's takes a lot for a man to, one, admit that they need support or help, but then two, to actually put your hand up and do it. I congratulate you on that, because
Well,
that's what I love to hear it.
I learned that 5 years ago. So I attempted to take my own life through an overdose. And if I hadn't have asked for help back then, I wouldn't be here now. And it just carried on escalating. I'd have lost everything. I lost a lot back then, but I've managed to get a lot of it back. But a lot of people look at asking for help as a sign of weakness. I don't believe it is. It's honestly a sign of strength. If you are strong enough to ask for help, it's finding strength to ask for help for it. You might not feel like you're strong enough, but if you do ask for help, it's a massive sign of strength, and that's first step. And after that, you are just going to get stronger and stronger.
Does it feel almost like, if you look too deep into it as well, it's like, oh, I'm a coach, I can't be seen to
Exactly.
have a weakness or have issues, because then that might lose credibility and people might think, oh, but he suffers with his mental health, so therefore how can he be an effective coach, which couldn't be further from the truth.
That's it. So I've been very good at all my life at masking. I didn't have the best childhood. My mum was an alcoholic, drug addict. I didn't have an easy time growing up. So I went to school and I lashed out and I got myself in a lot of trouble. But if anyone asked me, I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm fine. And as I got older through my military career, I was saying I'm very good at masking. And even to this day, I'm really good at it. So when I was having going through worst time of my life, I were at work every day. I was smiling on gym floor. Not a lot of people didn't know. I mean, it wasn't until I talked about it a while ago about the suicide attempt that my sister found out, or family members. People don't know. So this is why I decided to start speaking out about stuff. So everyone sees me now running ultra marathons, boxer, bodybuilder, coach. If they can see me being a bit weak and vulnerable, or being vulnerable, and then asking for help, it might inspire someone else to ask for help.
We're on the same page, brother. Absolutely. It's the sole reason I do what I'm doing here, is if I can bring people on and we'll have a conversation that might trigger something or inspire someone to look inwards and find something that might help them or might prompt them to reach out and ask for help, then I'm all for it. And it's because I ask myself these questions: why am I doing this podcast? Why am I spending time having conversations with someone? It's hard to know, truthfully, and sometimes you don't see the value in the work you're doing. You don't see the return. You don't see, a lot of the time, what people that you have helped, you'll never know. It's so I don't think that matters. I think just know that someone's messaged you, because I do get messages and it's, oh, you've helped me, and because of this I now do this. Well, if that's the reaction that person's had, there'd be 100 other people that have done the same. So you have to try and just hold on to that, and remember it, because it can get tough.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's one person or a thousand people. If it does help one person, it will worth it. That's the way I think about it. So I found it really uncomfortable talking. I still do, actually, about what I've been through and what I've done. Because there's
layers to it.
There's some stuff in my life.
There's always layers. Yeah, there'll be stuff we could talk about where we're comfortable.
Yeah.
And I did it with a podcast the other day with a lady, and she kind of reflected back to me and said, well, what is it do you feel about this? And I said to her, I said, hang on a minute, I'm the host.
I don't want to talk about that.
And then I did, and I went into this different energy, for one, because I had to be open and honest. And then I felt drained almost within a few minutes after because I'd gone to this
Yeah,
place and I'd opened up to it, and it was tough. So that's why I've now got that deeper level of respect for people that come
yeah,
on, because it's easy for me because all I'm doing really is navigating through the conversation and asking some questions and bits like that. Whereas it's yourself that I'm grateful to for coming on, and you don't know what I'm going to ask, you don't know where it's going to go, and it's you're just coming on as an open
yeah.
book.
And it's like you can't see it this time, but my feet are going 10 to dozen like that on the table because
Yeah,
I'm anxious, I'm nervous. It's not a bad
yeah,
thing, it's uncomfortable, but al
it's natural.
also by doing this and putting you out of your comfort zone, it grows. So I had to put myself out of my
Yeah,
comfort zone when I asked for help. I've started to learn that everything good in my life has come from being through a little bit of phase of being uncomfortable.
yeah, mate. We're on the same book, and before the podcast, before we jumped online, I imagine then you were feeling exactly the same as
Yeah,
me, anxious, bit nervous, almost like, why am I doing this? Like, if it was to be cancelled, that I could be relieved, like there'd be that bit of relief and like, oh, I can just
yeah,
go and have a rest now. It's you get those feelings, but I know now through the 40 odd times I've done this that I get that feeling every single
yeah.
time without fail, because I know that it's pushing me, it's testing me, it's the same for the guests, and there is that level of discomfort with it. But like yourself, everything good that's happened for me in my life over the last 12 months has come from constantly living in the unknown, pushing through the discomfort. There's lots of cliche around like discomfort and all these kind of things, but I feel like you can tell the difference between people that actually do it
Yeah.
and live by it as a rule, and people that just talk about it online because that's the cool thing to talk
Yeah.
about.
Well, this is what it for me. I never wanted to talk about it. I built my following from me pushing myself from whether it was bodybuilding, boxing, and I never intended to use it because you see, like I say, you see a lot of people that don't live it, and they want to say stuff about mental health and all this stuff to create a following. I don't like that. My thing is
Yeah.
my stories come out really just from talking to people on trails or bumping into people I've met. So I've talked to people at events, it's talked to someone else that's led to me meeting other people and creating them connections.
It's like a natural path into realizing how much value there is in sharing
Yeah.
your experiences. And it was the same with me. I was in these groups and met different people out running and swimming, and you're like, bloody hell, actually, you can get a lot of value and healing for
Yeah.
yourself at the same time as connecting with people, and you're all healing together or you're all connecting together.
That's it.
And there's this beautiful feeling you can't explain. And then you're like, right, well, if that's what's happening here in these environments, then why not just put it online and create this environment where we can all experience it
Well,
together?
that's it. When you're doing stuff like this, you'll find that most people have got some sort of similarities. Yeah, it might not have been as escalated as bad as you, but a lot of people have been through similar things and they've got different stories of how they coped. So a lot of people I've
Right.
met on ultramarathons or communities from trail running, they've all had like the different challenges. Obviously, some people have talked to drug addiction, alcoholism, mental health battles. I've had people that talk to that never camped before because they're anxious. It's there's all different ways that people are dealing with stuff, but you bump into them, and you've all got similarities. So everyone's going through
Right.
some sort of thing. I find.
What would you say is the biggest similarity between people that meet on those trail runs, and you just give each other a little look and it's like, yeah, we're here for the same reason? What is that reason?
I don't know. It's like to kind of pick up energy. I know it sounds weird. It's like you attract that energy. I found that more I've put out there, more that's come back to me. So when I'm out running, you can just get talking to people. A lot of people will ask me and like, "Oh, how did you get into running?" And I'll say, "Oh, I did it through a charity event for mental health." And then that's generally what leads on to it. And a lot of times I'll hear is, "Oh, I've had this battle," or a friend of mine, they lost someone due to this. So someone's it's like if it hasn't happened directly to them, they know someone that it's happened to, and that's what I found.
Yeah.
It's so common that it's very common these days. 'Cause, I used to think, oh, it's just me, it's just me. It's really not just you. There's a lot of people around there. And it's going
It's like
for
a
it.
penny drop moment, because there'll be a lot of people that are still in that realm
Yeah,
of it's just
yeah,
me. I'm the only person that goes through
yeah.
this.
It's that victim mentality as well.
And that's what I was just going to lead on to, because that was something that came
Yeah.
out for both of us when we spoke the other day. It's victim mentality. So what did victim mentality look like for
So
yourself?
literally anything that went wrong in my day were an excuse to go get drink or drugs. So it was me having a bad day, I had an argument with my sister. Oh, it's her fault. Well, she's always starting on me. Even though I'd have probably been wanted wrong. She's always picking a fight with me. It's always me. If something went wrong at work, a client cancelled, oh, I'm fed up with this. Why they cancelled on me? And it gets like that. Or you get an unsurprising bill that you'd forgot about or you weren't aware of. This always happens to me. Car tyre goes. It's just something that happen every day. But when you're in that mentality, it's the worst thing that's ever happened to you. And that, it's like when I was like that, I was looking for an excuse. So I was looking for an excuse for something to go wrong. It's like you wanted something to go wrong because then I had an excuse to be that person.
You say as well, it's like an element of holding on to stuff that's happened. So then when today, for example, something could come along, your car tire could go, but because you're holding on to the emotions of yesterday and some of the stuff that's wrong in recent times, you're like, oh, rather than my car tire's gone, and that, it then turns into, and now this has happened as well, because you're holding on to everything that's happened and it stacks up. And then you're on the phone to everyone, oh, my car tire's gone and this has happened and that's happened. And you're giving yourself that validation, that excuse to self-destruct and go and choose habits that you know aren't going to help.
Yeah.
But you're choosing to go down that path because you feel like a victim.
Yeah, it's like what I explained to my clients. Say they've fell off plan a little bit, they've missed some training sessions, they've had something go off in their life. And I'm like, right, you need to draw a line under it. You can't change it, it's done. And the analogy I use is if you got a puncture in your car tyre, you wouldn't go around and stab your other three tyres. You'd fix that tyre and you'd carry on. And that's what I will like, that victim side of it. I'd go puncture other three because then I could stay there. But instead of what I've learned to do now, if something goes wrong, right, can I change it? Great. If not, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm going to carry on. So, like I say, you fix your car tyre, you carry on. And that's where I've got to now. So, when I was like that, I'd put everything off, I'd delay everything. And what I've learned to do, and it's been a big thing for me this past couple of years, is I act on something straight away. So, when I started realizing that when I was sat down and it was getting a bit dark and a bit I was getting a lot of intrusive thoughts, Sarah. I'd be, right, I need to act on this now because if I don't, it's going to snowball. So my thing is now, if you get a punch in your car tyre, you fix it, you carry on.
Something alongside that as well is I now use this mentality of what would like me tomorrow want me to do now.
Yeah.
And I know that it was always going to be get outside, go for a walk, go for a swim, go and do something positive, and then that version of me wins.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was I wouldn't listen to that, and it would be, oh, I don't feel like going for a run because I'm in a bad
Yeah.
mood. Whereas now I find myself putting my trainers on, and it's like, why am I doing this? Like before we did the podcast, I feel a bit tired, I'm not quite on like my A game. What would help? Well, a bit of breath work and a cold shower. I was like, no, but I don't want a cold shower. And then I was in the cold shower, just making all these like giggling noises. And you have that instant, oh, that's cool. Yeah, no, I'm still there, still pulling through, still doing the stuff that I don't want to do because I know I'll benefit from it in an hour or tomorrow. And it's such an easy shift of mindset that's so hard to actually put into place, especially when you're feeling down and you don't want to do anything to help yourself.
I mean, I developed this thing now. I don't negotiate with myself. Believe me, I didn't used to be like this. This has been built over the last 3 years. If it says I'm running, I'm running. There's no thoughts that come into it now. This is the only opportunity I say I've got today. My days generally are quite busy. So the first opportunity I've got, I get it in whatever I've got to do. And when I first started, I would sit and look at my trainers for 30 minutes with a coffee. And I think it's just building that discipline now. It's not the motivation, because believe me, when it's raining outside, it's cold, I'm not motivated to run, same as everybody else. I'd rather be sat down in a room watching telly nice and warm than going out and freezing outside. But over time of being able to do it and consistently showing up for myself, it's got to the point now where it's, right, I've got to run, there we go, it's done. Get it done, and then, because who I'm speaking to is that thing about eating frog. If you had a frog to eat in a day, would you leave it all day and have to worry about it? or would you get it over and done with first thing in the morning? So that's kind of where I am with that. Is if I don't want to do it, I'm getting it done, and then it's out at way, and it's not ruining the rest of my day, or I'm not worrying
Win the
about
morning.
it the rest of my day.
Yeah, you always got to win the morning. Best start to the day, without doubt. Come rain or shine, you can't beat it.
I mean, with my job, I'm pretty lucky. I get to run in the middle of the day. I don't have to wake up too early to run. I'm generally up early for work, but yeah, so I work split shifts. So my thing is up in the morning, straight ice bath because I hate that. But I do it for the dopamine side of my brain. So it's not for recovery. I just find that I get in that in the morning. I get that feel good feeling for a few hours in the day. By the time that's done, I'll finish my morning clients, then I'll go out for my run, then I get my eater endorphins. So that gives me that runner's high, and I'm chasing that high again. And then I'm into work for evening. By that time, my day's calmed down, and then I'm home and I come to bed. So it's a nice way of finding it to do it. Keeps my mind occupied that way. Keep that routine.
Yeah. What's on the bucket list, mate? What's your next challenge?
So I always put stuff out for accountability. So I post it on social media. So my last one was to run Yorkshire Three Peaks 3 times for charity. So if Yorkshire Three Peaks 4 times to raise money for mine, and we managed to do that. And it's always been what's going to be next. So I think next logical thing was to run National Three Peaks. So we've looked at world record for that is currently 4 days, 23 hours. I think it's 46 minutes. So I've given myself a year and a half to get ready for it. And I'm going to attempt to run 450 miles in under 5 days, basically. And we'll do that for Andy's Man Club this time. It's a bad idea, I know.
Yeah. And I think I compare that to like where I am with what's my next challenge going to be, and it's worlds apart, which I know what you're going to say. There's no point in comparing.
No, hard for me is hard for you. It's everyone's got their hard. So if you push yourself, you push yourself. And I get this a lot of people. When I run 5K and it was really hard, but that's no to you. I'm like, but it's hard to you. That 5K was hard for me when I started. I couldn't run 5K without stopping. So if that's hard for you, you are pushing yourself and try not to discredit that and take that away from you. Because I don't like that. Yeah, I built up to where I can run hundreds of miles. But when I started, I couldn't, and it were hard. So I still understand the 5K is hard. I paced my stepdaughter through her first half marathon, and I saw her struggle from that, and I was so proud. And that to her were harder than me running 50K. But to her, in grand scheme of it, that were harder for her than it is for me. So I appreciate that more.
Yeah, it's seeing people in the moments where you know they got nothing left, like the body isn't shut down. Like I need to stop, but to see people overcome those emotions and just keep putting one step forward, just keep plodding away, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, actually, I am going to finish this. I am going to get it.
Yeah, I mean, when she finished that, I think I had more tears in my eyes than she did.
No, that's beautiful. And what did you learn from your fall in the Apex?
So Apex was my first failed event. So I'm not going to be in my bonnet. It's an amazing weekend, but so in September this time, I think course records 24 hours 4 minutes. So I'm aiming to try and break that this time. So I'm going back with like vengeance. It was an amazing weekend, and the community, like the stories you hear, were blowing me away. Yeah, absolutely amazing people. And that race kind of just happened for me. It was never on my calendar. So I went and I think I was 52 miles in when I took my fall and jarred my back. If it hadn't been as close to charity challenge I was doing, which was York Three Peaks one, I'd have probably just tried to toughed it out and hiked it. But I like, no, I'm going to be sensible when I pulled out. So like my first event that I haven't finished.
It's amazing to see how many people that attended and are involved in the Apex group and community. I've had a podcast because I connect. It's like a ping pong effect, but I had Adam, the guy that ran Apex, right near the start of the podcast. And then I met Simon Hall up at Olly's event, and I've met Ben and Adam, and then I've Mission Planet guys and Nathan. And it's all just happened naturally, but they're all such brilliant guys.
Well, with Nathan and Rowan, they were just coming down Helvellyn when I came past them, shouting, "I'm Jack Sparrow," waving my hands to the side. And then next loop, when I caught them back up, I stopped to talk with them. And amazing people they are. So amazing stories. But there were a lot of people there like that. I was absolutely blown
Yeah.
away. I was going round relatively quick and saw me, and I'm like, right, I'm just going to get my head down. I can box rest it off in the morning. So then we were going up and down the wet weather route, which was just outside of Elbelly. And I thought, you know what I'm going to do this time? I'm just going to hike up with people, share conversations, run back down, grab another one and do it same. And stories you hear from people, they're absolutely amazing. And I know in
Yeah.
ultra running, like everyone sees that as hard, but we train for this religiously. Some of these people, like, had never even been up mountains or they just climbed on a stairmaster's train for it. I mean, one girl I taught had never even camped. She were camping for a weekend. She did prosthetics for NHS. I mean, the mixture of people, it was amazing. A really good event.
Yeah. Just getting it done. You can't imagine how nervous like some of
Yeah,
these people would have been
yeah,
then leading up to the event and when they turned
yeah.
up. Can you see that? Can you sense that
Oh,
in
there's
people's
always uh, there's always some sort of anxiety there, right, or that anxiousness before I start. You'll generally see people same again, they're like kicking their feet on floor, head down, and you can see
yeah,
they're about to probably undertake the hardest thing they've ever done, and it is
yeah.
hard. They're climbing their own Everest.
There's nothing we can do in that moment as well. There's literally like, there's no more training,
Yeah,
no more food
yeah.
prep,
Well,
nothing. This is it.
only thing I can put that feeling down to for me was I run the UTS 100 mile in May, and I was stood at that start line, and we got it on camera, and you can just see me going. So I'm like, this is gonna hurt. And it's like, can I actually finish this? Is it? And you've got all that self doubt there, and it is just one step at a time with this. 1 foot, well, yeah, taking one step at a time, chunking it down. You've got a massive goal of doing 100K or 29,000 foot elevation. It's just taking it one step at a time, one loop at a time, breaking that big goal down.
When you have to really dig deep, is there anything in there that you use as that fuel?
I've been through worse. That minute is my I mean, like I say, I had some very dark places, and I think it was Goggins that refers to it as cookie jar. When he's in a really low place, he goes through something he's done in the past, and then he shows that you can overcome more. So when I am
Yeah.
really low, and these are a few, there's been a fair few events where I thought I'm not going to make this. I need to pull out, and it's you think right, just get another step, and it's like, well, I've overcome this before, so I can do a bit more. But it it's awful to think, but I go to some of the darkest parts in my life, and
Mhm.
this is probably why when some people see me, I do look very emotional. I might have tears in my eyes, but generally when I'm out on trails, you'll see me life than life. Big smile on my face, happy, saying, "Hey, how's your day going? You having a good race?" And I talk, but when I'm getting really low, you'll see me head down,
Mm.
tears in eyes, and I'm just one foot after another until that lull's past.
Is it safe to say as well that in those moments, because it's happened naturally and it like you've chose to go there because it's been brought out of you whilst you're doing something you enjoy, that you don't necessarily feel that resistance to that
Yeah,
emotion because you've got nothing else to
yeah,
do. You're like, well, I haven't got to go and do some client stuff, so I haven't got to pull myself out of this
yeah,
emotion. I'm more than happy as it stands to sit here and just explore
yeah.
why is it that I'm feeling this way.
I mean, when I'm out running, I don't think too much deep into it. Now, when I'm like that, 'cause generally my feet are probably blistering or there's some cramping.
Yes.
It's like, can I get to that next aid station? But it's generally at the end of it. So at the end of my first ultra marathon, my other half from me. She's like, "How did you get on?" I went, "I've got around, go, hung up," and I just bust out in tears. I mean, floods and
Yeah.
floods of tears. I was sat in car sobbing to myself, and that's when I take that time and think, right, think it through then. And it's like, well, I've just done that, but I've just done something massive and I've tied that big, massive achievement to that bit of a
Mhm.
traumatic event. It's kind of, when I think about that now, it brings back that memory of me running Lady Ball 50K for my first ultra marathon.
No, I can see that and I can relate to it a lot. I really can. It sounds like in those moments you've not necessarily come up with the answers, you come up with the
Yeah,
questions that you want the answers to. It's like you're finding stuff and you're like, I know that that's something that's like deep within me. I can't make sense
yeah,
of it. That's why I might benefit from going and unraveling it. It's almost like that box thing. I'm going to look inside it. I'm going to take it
yeah,
out, try and tidy it up a little bit, make a bit more sense out of it, and then put it back in nice and neat and
yeah.
tidy.
It is. So as I was explaining earlier about how my mind works, I can't focus on that thought normally. But then when I'm running,
Mm,
that's when he'll actually be able, he'll be there. He'll stay present for a while then because my brain ain't just
mm,
skipping across. So I'll be able to, even though I might not deal with the emotion or the thought on that present, it's once I've stopped it and I've been able to think.
yeah,
It's hard to explain. I'm not delving into what the problem is or what's hurting me or why it's hurting me, but it's just that it's present and it's giving me. It's like I'm just going through it. I'm living it as I'm running,
yeah.
and then and when I stop, because all that anxiousness are raised and everything's done, and I've got that relief, and then I sit with it, and like I said, then with box.
And you could go down the route of, well, I'll just live with that and ignore it. Do you know what I mean? But what do you see any benefit in just ignoring it and shutting stuff away, even though you know it's there now?
Well, way I explain shutting stuff away. Well, I like this is a bit of a tough one, but I found my mum when she took her own life, and I just I numbed everything and never dealt with it. And way I can only explain this is it festered. That festered so much in me, and because I wasn't dealing with it then, it it just got progressively worse. And I think that is one of the biggest parts of my breakdown. So I never dealt with that then. If I'd have probably gone out and got some sort of help or gone and spoke to someone about it and said like, oh, I'm fine. Everyone knew I'd just been through something traumatic. But I like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. And that were it. It would just, I was fine. And then you start masking again. And because I'd not dealt with that and I was masking with it, it just festered more and more.
You think part of it was that you wanted to be fine so much
You try and ignore
because
it. If you ignore it enough,
you just the person you were. But the truth is, when something that extreme and that sad and traumatic happens to someone, it's hard to
yeah.
ever be the same person
I
again.
mean, when you've got to face it, you kind of got to go through it again. And I think it was me, I was just that scared that I never want to look at that again. Like, because you've got
Yeah.
that image burned in your brain. It's, if I ignore it, it'll go away, but it never does. So for me, like, I had to go through all that. And now that I've gone through it, I found forgiveness from my mum for that. It's now I understand that my mum had her own battles. She had her battles with alcoholism, which I've had. I understand that now I've got ADHD, a lot of that can be hereditary. And now I look at how my mum was, I've got an understanding thinking, well, that's why her mood swings, that's why she wore. That's why she wore from one topic to another. And it made a lot of sense. And in that, I found a little bit of peace because I've been able to do it.
Yeah.
So instead of letting
Yeah.
it fester, I should have dealt with it and then got more an understanding. But it's that thing, it hurt. I didn't want to do it.
And there was one word you used then, and it's a word that I'll ask you, if you hadn't reached that level of forgiveness, would you be the person you are now?
I don't think so. Honestly, I don't. It took me a lot to forgive my mum for that. I mean,
Yeah.
I, sh- she had a tough time. It's I'm not making excuses. But people when they look at suicide, they're like, it's easy way out. It's not easy way out. But with suicide is it don't cure the pain. It just passes it to someone else. And it was kind of like, why you done this to me? Why have you put your pain on me? So I kind of couldn't fathom why she'd done that to me. And that took me a lot of time to work through. And it only way I've been able to work through it for me was I was on trails. I'm taking myself to pure exhaustion where I could sit and think about it. And then just being sat on top of a massive climb, exhausted, just looking, and then being able to think through it. It's because
Mm.
my brain had been able to slow down a little bit. But it took a long time to find forgiveness for that. It really did. I think if I hadn't have, I don't think I'd be as happy as I am now. And
No.
I generally mean that. When I say that to people, I'm like, I'm happy in life. And they look at you gone out, and I'm like, that is my biggest achievement. Coming back from where I am, it wasn't building my business back up. It wasn't being comfortable at home or buying a car or doing whatever. For me, the biggest goal or all is just becoming happy in life. And that's been
Peace. Peace. Am I right in thinking that that's not it's not the case, that we reach this level and we're happy all the
no,
time? I imagine moments
no.
where you have moments where the unforgiveness creeps back in
What?
again, and other thoughts and the anger, frustration, and those exact feelings you had initially, where why is this happening to me? Like, it's natural that that will still arise from time to
Yeah,
time, but it's doing the things, like going out on the
yeah,
trails that then help you return quite quickly, I imagine, back to the exact place that you can find that peace.
yeah. It's not every day is going to be a bright day. It's you got what is it? You got to have rain to appreciate sun. So you're still going to have them bad days. Everyone's going to have bad days. There's always stuff that's going to go wrong. And for me, like I said, I do find sitting down and sitting still very hard because that to me is still something I've got to work on. So even though I am happy, I am generally happy, that is something I'm struggling with. So for me, to be completely happy in life where I can sit and think, right, I can relax now and I can sit in peace and maybe just sit and watch some telly, just sit, listen to a podcast, just actually sit still. That's going to take some work.
Yeah. That's the
And
aim.
it's working.
That's always been my aim. I look back because I go on a family holiday each year, and I look at the holidays where I've enjoyed the
Yeah.
most, because on holiday with my family, we enjoy just relaxation, just on the beach or by the pool, reading a book, not much going on really, playing with the kids, building some sandcastles. And it's a really good measure of actually how happy am I when I'm kind of not running around
Yeah.
busy doing life. And for me, over the last couple of years, because of the work I've done on myself, when I slow down now and I'm surrounded by my family in a beautiful country, I feel those emotions that you want to feel, like great gratitude and happiness and inner peace. Like, that's happening for me now.
Yeah.
So that for me is like a real good sign of the amount of work I've done, because I've done exactly what you've done. I've reached out for help. I've had support from lots of recovery. I've had the therapy and lots of learning, and it's all coming together for me now. But I still have the bad days. But I can really relate to you saying I just want to be happy when I'm doing
Yeah.
nothing, because that was the I had at the start.
That's so like the biggest goals, like I set big goals, and that's probably the biggest goal I've got to achieve.
Mm,
Everything is just to be able to sit still. I mean, I love what I do, but I'd like to take a
yeah,
day and just think, you know what? Just gonna sit down.
it makes so much
Yeah.
sense.
But it might seem strange to some people though, because some people haven't got to that part yet. They just like, I just want to be happy. And they're gonna do what they need to do. They're gonna do their ice baths, the runs, the gym, they're tidying the diet up, quitting alcohol, going sober. They're gonna do that and then they're gonna find some happiness. That ain't it all. It's then right, can you stop and then sit down and be happy? I think you get to levels of it. And I think once I get to the point where I'll sit and think, right, I'm happy, I can sit still. But I'll be like, right, I need to work on something else. I think there's always going to be something to work on.
So, what do you see the path to you reaching that? What How many how many phases do you feel like there are? I mean, there's clearly reaching out and asking for help is a massive
Yeah.
step. And once you start unraveling some of the bits that you've locked away, and you do the
Yeah.
talking, I feel like that's gonna really help you. But then what else do you feel like there is for you to do to reach your goal?
Well, for me, is your brain's got an amazing way of protecting itself. So I don't remember a lot. I don't remember a lot from a long time ago. Not just from a bad memory, it's just there's certain parts of my life that are blanked out. So I think each time I do something, it's going to unlock something else. And I'm going to have to keep going until
Yeah.
I've healed it, basically. I mean, it's like picking at a scab. I need to let it heal. So at minute, I can't, I keep picking at it by ignoring it. So what I need to do is go through it and then eventually I can stop picking. Because each time I talk or like I jumped on a call with Adam and we spoke there and that kind of brought some stuff out and I like, well, I need to work on that. And then speak to yourself, I'll go away and I'll think, I'm like, well, that's brought up. I'd not thought about that. So I think there's just different sections that I need to.
For me as well, something that I really feel quite strongly about, and it's confirmed to me through the conversations I had with lots of different people, is it's not so much the narrative and the story that's the important bit, but it's the emotions that you've attached to those stories and narratives, and how you're then able to separate a new thing that you've got coming up to being completely like
Yeah,
new, as opposed to comparing it to something that's happened
yeah,
previously, and then automatically going into the
yeah,
emotion you've attached to that scenario. So then you almost remove the narrative, remove the story, and just live your life facing forwards.
Well, that's it. If you could talk about it and then it just not bring you back. So, like I said, if you can just keep going forward, so like have a conversation, this is what I've been through, this was my life, and then it not trigger that. And just think, right, you
Yeah.
know what?
Got two simple things.
Yeah.
So it's completely right to revisit
Yeah.
things
But
that you've struggled
you're
with.
not,
Your that's really, really healthy. Let's talk about that. Let's
yeah,
unravel it. Let's make sense of it.
yeah,
Now let's draw the
yeah,
line, and now let's use any of
yeah,
that when we're moving forwards in
yeah.
life.
No, I get that. And that's, I think that's what I want to do.
No, it's all different, and I find there's lots of coaches that have lots of different
Yeah,
ways of explaining things, but ultimately, no one wears your life
yeah.
better than you. You just need to make sense of it yourself.
It's like,
I feel.
it's thing I said to people we coach, and like you just said that different explanation. You got A to B, you've got 10 different paths. It don't mind one's better than another. As long as you all get to the same destination, that's what matters.
As long as you're
Yeah,
clear, isn't it? That's your
yeah,
path. I'm clear on what
yeah,
I want to
yeah.
do. You don't have to ask anyone for that
No,
permission.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I love that,
Yeah.
mate. Mate, it's been a hell of a
Yeah.
chat.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's kind of gone off on all sorts of different mad tangents, but in a really beautiful way. Because I questioned before we came on the pod whether I had the right level of energy.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was like, just feeling flat. It's a Monday morning, isn't
Well,
it? So you're
this is the
thinking,
same with me because I messaged me over half. I went, oh, I'm jumping on that call early and I'm absolutely exhausted. I went, after this, I'm off to bed
yeah.
because my body's still wrecked from weekend. I'm like, I do not want to be yawning on this call. Like, but well, no, I've enjoyed it.
because we've met each other on that
Yeah.
honesty of we're both tired. Not one of us. If I'd have come on and been really like
Yeah.
on it
Yeah.
and up here and oh hi, how are we, and reading from a script and all this stuff, trying to catch you out with fancy words, it's like, mate, do us a favour. I'm
Well,
tired, but we've met each
I
other.
can put my woods in there right away now then.
I wish you all the best.
No.
Yeah, we'll stay in touch, and I'll be rooting for you both on your trails, but also the thing I'm rooting for you the most is I want to see you doing the work and just getting to that place where you're happy when you're doing nothing.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be soon. I'm tired.
Yeah, just bear with it, mate. You've got
Yeah.
this.
Thank you.
Legend, mate. Thanks so much for your time.
No,
Appreciate it.
thanks for having me on.
No worries, man. Just stay on for us,
Yeah,
bud.
well done.
It'll just press stop.